Hello, good evening everybody, and welcome to round 9 of the North American Grand Prix Formula Abarth Championship, coming to you live from Monza this evening. Very high-speed circuit, dangerous circuit. It's going to be a lot of fun here tonight, but before we get any further, let me welcome my partner here tonight, Brad Maris. Brad, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Al. So, yeah, at Monza here, you know, I had a chance to talk with quite a few drivers, actually, just not too long ago, really, and some of these drivers, Al, are a little out of sorts. I think that there's a couple guys, Chris Moses, Ronnie Nunez, not quite sure what's going on out there. David Poole, obviously, at the top of that official scoring at the moment in this official practice. He's looking pretty good, but Al, he barely got any practice last night. I was talking with him last night. But he's looking good. And how about that Iggy Sciordia, Al, on the mediums, up there in 5th?
Wow, that's pretty amazing as we move it over to the qualifying session now. So, yeah, I was looking at some of the lap times some of these guys set earlier in the week. And I'll tell you what, Chuck Carter looking quite racy, the only guy in the 55s. And pretty amazing. And our championship leader, Chris Moses, serving a no qual here tonight, Brett. So another big development.
Yeah, after that big week last week at Imola, but unfortunately Chris ran into trouble there on the opening laps, taking out David Rowley and Andres Preto both. Actually got a 2-for-1 there, but serving a no qual as a result this week. So
while these guys make their way out of the pit lane, let's work on their outlap here. Let's take a quick look at the track map. 11 corners. Well, like we talked about the circuit, very high speeds. 2 chicanes there, turns 1, 2, 4, and 5. Very high curbing there. These guys are going to be very careful. Lesmo's going to be, turn 7 especially, going to be a really nice exit through there. And Ascari, very, very tricky to navigate, especially some of these guys most undoubtedly running fairly low wing, and of course Parabolica, final turn. You want to carry a ton of speed as you exit the Parabolica. Yeah, so some guys were talking about feeling pretty good with the setups, other guys a bit more out of sorts. Everybody agrees on one thing, Al, and that is that it's very easy to throw the car off here with these high speeds and low downforce setups. Of course at Rogia and Lesmos, and of course at Ascari, all dangerous places, taking too much curb and throwing these cars off. Very easy to do. So I'm going to jump on board here with David Poole. Looking very racy here near the end of this session as he makes his way down along straight here. Past the pit lane, heading into turn 1 on his first flying lap.
Oh, there he is right now. Yeah, so it's about a lot of top speed around here, but it's also about not having speed. In other words, in the braking zones, Al, that's where these go. It takes a lot of curbing there on the second part of that chicane, doesn't it? That's the big story around this place. Obviously, you want to carry a lot of speed out of the corners, but almost how you get the car slowed down is nearly as important.
Second chicane here. Turns 4 and 5.
Yeah, De La Rosa, these guys will actually be able to utilize a little bit of trail braking into that corner. David looked like he nipped it very nicely, but of course if you come up just a little short on that apex and bounce over that first curbing, you are done. It's going to kick you right to the wall. Through Lesmo 1 now. Kind of a tricky complex there actually in 4th gear. And now through Lesmo 2, because you're waiting for the front end to stick. These guys are carrying no more than, oh, let's say a 3 front wing out, probably 3 and 1, 4 and 1, 4 and 2, something like that, front and rear. So not a lot of downforce to be had. And coming through Ascari here now, you really have to take some chances here if you want to put in a very nice lap time. David Poole in 4th through there, Al.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised by that. I think you want to carry a lot of momentum there. It looks like he's able to keep the revs up on the car and not lose much speed through that part of the track. Looks like he's got it set up nicely.
Yeah, and I say that's the whole deal. He must be carrying enough downforce, and in combination with those soft tires, be able to handle that extra speed in fourth. And as you say, coming through parabolic, handled that very nicely as well. Looks like the only speed he gave up there was at that first chicane now.
Yeah, just clipping that curve, the exit of the first chicane. So let's see where Dave ends up. 56.3. So nice lap from Moses. Chuck Carter, 56.5. So slots into the second position. With the 56.9. So Chuck's going to stay on. Oh, he's going to look it. Salem Montgomery Jr. So missing last week. He's carrying some success ballast here tonight as Aaron Parsons now chimes in with a personal best 55.691.
This was one of the teams I talked with, Al, that felt like they had a pretty good chance tonight. They feel like the Abarth they've got underneath them is handling very well, so they're going to be a team to watch, I think.
So it's going to be interesting to see how some of these guys manage the weight here tonight. Quite a few guys carrying a bit of ballast. Salem, one of those guys. After his win a couple races ago, so this car is probably going to feel the effect down some of these straights, Brad. I imagine that weight will become a detriment for them.
Well, every single one of those guys with weight that you mentioned struggling, frankly, in terms of speed. There is nobody with weight over just 5 kilograms that is inside the top 5 in that official practice that we saw. That includes Moses, Salem Montgomery Jr., Matt Taylor. So yeah, it's obviously having an effect.
So Salem with a bit of a moment there to lift a little bit in the exit of his car. So that's going to help.
You have to say, Salem Montgomery Jr. not showing great pace in that official practice. Outside the 2-minute range, actually, so we'll see if he can pick it up.
Could be, he's been out of town for a while, so, but improved slightly to a 57.7, so Moses, we're talking about him in the pits, and Parsons now has improved to a 55.2, so best lap of the session. David Poole has now dipped into the 55s as well with the 55.9. We're on board now with Ronnie Nunez carrying 30 kilograms. He's the highest so far, I believe, this season in terms of weight. Actually, 30's been the max, right? We've had a couple guys.
Yep, 30's been the max.
Oh yeah, so we were at Imola last week. He would have been, he would have added to that. He was running in the top 3 for near the closing laps of that race, but ran into some trouble late.
Yeah, so 3 drivers with 30 kilograms of ballast here tonight. One of those due to a penalty, Chris Moses, the other one with 30 kilograms. And I spoke personally with Ronnie Nunez just a couple minutes before the qualifying started, and he was one of those guys that had not gotten it figured out. He said something like, quote, "I'm completely lost."
That's never a good feeling.
Ronnie. Yeah, watching him, he is one that's definitely not taking the curbing. Some of these other drivers are. I noticed Aaron Parsons able to take quite a bit of the curbing there on some of his laps.
Curbing here is quite vicious, as we mentioned, but not only those big humps there and the couple of the chicanes, but some of the smaller speed bumps can pose some issues as well, as Nunez jumps up to 8th in this
7th.
session. Sorry,
8th.
7th. Yep, 8th.
Not,
okay.
not too bad.
All Alright, so on board now with Eiran Parsons, our provisional pole setter.
Yeah, you say provisional. I say I don't know who's going to catch him at this point. 55.2. That sounds like a very nice time to me, Al.
Looks like he's got that Abarth dialed in, or virtually no wheel spin exit there in the first chicane. Got out of there very nicely.
Yeah, the car looked quite nimble as well. Of course, Eiran Parsons getting through there in first gear. I wonder if that will affect him on the start grid.
Ooh, gets blocked a little bit and gets collected, so tough deal there for Parsons. Take a look further back as Matt Taylor. Who's Nieto? Here tonight, currently in 11th. His best time 57 flat. Let's look further down the grid. Kurt Chandler. Curtis currently in 10th. Sergio Calderon running in 16th. Watch Nunez. Marty Eiran looking quite speedy here tonight, currently in 3rd.
Yeah, and I believe it is... Who's subbing for Ian? Somebody's subbing for Ian this week. I can't remember who it is.
I think that was Kevin Savoy.
Oh, Kevin Savoy. Oh, 15th currently.
Right on board with Marty. Aside from Parsons out front, it is very close positions, 2 through 5. It's about it's under 2/10 separating those 4 drivers.
Yeah, right now there's kind of clusters of cars grouped up together at this moment. As you say, with the exception of Eiran Parsons, at that 55.2.
Approaching the Parabolica to complete this lap. Marty improve? Does not. So Marty's going to remain in 3rd.
Wow. 3rd, provisionally 3rd, nearly a second off of our current pole sitter, Al. Wow.
Yeah, pretty amazing. But tell you what, Sam Rolfe currently in 13th. Sam had a great run last week, finishing in the top 10 at Imola. Best performance to date.
Yeah, solid 10 points out there.
Currently in 14th as Iggy's jumped up to 13th. Sam gets it a bit wrong there. Talking about Savoy, he has jumped up to 2nd, Brad, now with a 55.890.
Well, that does not look like the Kung Fu livery, though, Al.
No, it does not. I believe Nieto is in the... in Ian's car.
Yeah.
Let's jump on board with Kevin. Ooh! There you have it. Caught a little bit of that inside... bump on that inside curve at the exit of Ascari, and that just sent his car for a ride. He's going to make his way back out of the pit lane. Chandler has it. Looks like he's on a lap. He's going to get out of people's way. Matt Taylor sitting in 9th. A bit off the pace here tonight as well.
Yeah, Matt Taylor, 20 kilograms of ballast, and that is your highest running car with ballast, is 8th right now, Al. Amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty astounding. Just over 10 minutes left here to go in this qualifying session. Watching round 9, qualifying for round 9 here at Monza.
Wow, Matt Taylor's having no trouble with the curbing.
And we got through there quite nicely.
Yeah, I was asking the guys a little bit about ride heights and these types of things, and for the most part, it didn't sound like anybody was being too overly cautious with trying to get the car up off the curbing. But I think some guys have got the dampers and other suspension components figured out where they're just able to get over the curbing a little bit better.
So Matt Taylor is unable to improve. He's going to remain in 9th. David Poole now has jumped up to 2nd, just eclipsing Kevin Savoy by about 8/800ths of a second. Just over. Iggy Chiordia sitting in 13th. John Houston, I haven't talked too much about him tonight, but he is currently running in 7th.
Another guy we haven't talked about is John Wathen. He had posted a very nice official practice time, but John Wathen also suffering a no qualification penalty here tonight. So along with Chris Moses, those are 2 guys we could see up there challenging for some of those top spots, but it will not be because of those penalties.
Yeah, John Wathen having a brief shining moment last week, leading for about a quarter.
Sure did.
John Houston improves to 4th with a 55.9. So 4 guys now into the 55s. Starting to creep ever closer to here. Parsons pulled up. Still pulling 2nd, 5/10ths off of Aaron Parsons. As Chuck Carter's going to make his way out. We saw Chuck in the 55s in the practice session.
Yeah, I have to give you a quick update on that David Poole time. His last lap actually was very close, so now just a couple tenths off that Aaron Parsons time out.
Yeah, just noticed that. Jumps up to a 55.4 as Parsons now improves to a 55.5.
Yeah. Not to be outdone. Wow.
Right on board with Marty. Rally looking quite strong here as well in 6th.
Yeah, a new country heard from David Rowley. Haven't seen much from him, hide or hair, here over the course of the week. But looking pretty sharp here in qualifying.
So as Marty makes his way through Ascari. Really fun set of corners. I do not see Prato out there on track.
Yeah. I think that's because he's not.
Oh, that's too bad. Hopefully he can make it in time for the race.
Yeah, he does usually do a pretty good job of giving some advance notice if he's not going to be able to attend, but apparently he was not able to this time.
As Marty is not going to improve that time by. What the heck is that? All right, so Marty does not improve. So where are we at this point? We have just about 5.5 minutes to go. Chuck Carter on a flyer. Ride along with Chuck here for a little bit, see if he can better his time here. We know he's got the pace.
Yeah, into the 55s during the week, as you say, to be coming in the official qualifying session here, 56.2. That is not a bad start, and you're absolutely right. He's got a couple minutes yet to improve that. See if he can scramble up some late session heroics.
Ooh, he gets it wrong there. Maybe put a little too much pressure on himself. Newcomer Oscar Lithgow making his debut here tonight, Brad. Currently in 18th is Oscar.
Yeah, and we'll see how this driver manages this race. Not too surprising to see newcomers a bit off the pace. That doesn't worry us too much. So we'll see how he manages that race pace, and if he can stay out of trouble out there. That's always first order of business for new guys.
So it looks like he is on an outlap. You're right behind him. Parsons in the pit, so he might be done. Take a look at Sam Rolfe. Sam languishing a bit there, back in 15th. And David Poole, last time by, 55.4. Time for these guys to get out and do a lap.
Yep. No improvement.
No improvement for Poole. Making his way out. David Rowley now. As well, currently running in the 6th spot. Actually led last week's race going into turn 1. And then the wheels fell off.
Yeah, David is part of a couple of unfortunate incidents actually that first lap, but you certainly had the speed. At least you got that. If you're going to be upset at, whoa!
Car coming around on him. So Parsons, he is on track now, looking to jump into the 54s. He's right there.
Yeah, if he has a chance if he has time enough left, he is going to use it to get on track and try to run a 54.
On an out lap, trying to put some heat into his tires. A lot of guys have marked it. Montgomery Jr. He is struggling with it, back in 14th, 1 spot behind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's surprising that once again, as we mentioned, that weight taking its toll. Ronnie Nunez has that 30 kilograms. He has slotted into 8th, so that's our best weight ballast qualification at the moment is 8th place.
1.2 seconds off.
Yeah.
So we're watching Nieto make his way around. Currently in 7th. Right behind him is Montgomery Jr. Right in front of Nieto is Ronnie Nunez. So
Whoa.
Jump on board with Nunez here as he's about to close out this lap. 45 seconds left in the session.
Yeah, it sure is. And quickly going back to Nieto, you know, these could be important points for this Kung Fu Racing squad. They managed to pick up third in that team classification last week at Imola with a strong drive, Marty Eiran and Ian Jolicoeur. So could be important points on offer for that substitute driver tonight.
So Nunez comes to the line. Buttons all crossed up.
No improvement.
No improvement for Nunez. Montgomery Jr. 57.8. He does not improve. It's like that. Checkers are out. He's going to do it in this session, trying to pick up Parsons now. You got Poole going through Parabolica. What's Poole got left in the tank here? Is he going to get it done? No, he does not. Parsons does jump into the 54s, a 54.9 there to close out the session. So, pretty astounding lap from Parsons. As Matt Taylor, does he improve? He does not. He's going to stay in 10th. Sam Rolfe, he is good enough for 12th. Chandler jumps up to 11th. Calderon, he is back in the 18th. So it looks like Ronnie Nunez is still on a flying lap here, as is Chuck Carter. Let's jump on board with Chuck here on his approach to the Parabolica.
Now those guys 8th and 9th respectively, so this could be important laps for them. These guys are separated by 5/1000ths of a second now.
So can Chuck improve? No. And Nunez, he does improve. Oh, he beats out. Oh no, he was up ahead of Carter. So Carter unable to improve there. He is going to start in 9th. So, pretty outstanding lap from Parsons. The only guy in the 54s, Brad.
Yeah, well, he made it a little boring for us with that kind of lap time. You know, nobody was able to challenge, and I have to say, despite David Poole's obvious speed, Aaron Parsons seems to be the class of the field tonight. I think it looks like these guys might be fighting for second now.
Yeah, it looks like that could be the case. But, you know what? Monza, as we've seen a few times in Assetto Corsa, is a very difficult track here, Brad. You know, one little mistake, take a little too much curb, and you could be off for a ride, and the other guys will swallow you up pretty quickly. So it seems like
well, there's
no, go ahead.
There's that, and then if you take it for a ride and into the Armco as part of that ride, the damage is just going to crush you around this place. If you aren't in a pit window to come in and get that sucker repaired right away, then they're really going to be hosed. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right, so we got about just under 5 minutes here before this race gets underway. Gonna run down the drivers and team standings here in the season 27 Abarth series here. Chris Moses, talked about him serving a no qual this evening, is going to start is leading with 138 points. Ronnie Nunez, after last week, Brad, jumped up to second in the points with 114. Parsons in third with 110, and Matt Taylor and John Houston tied for fourth with 81 points. And the team championship, we got Precision Motor Racing with 245. T-Brock Dan Bam in second. That's Parsons and Houston. They have 205, 40 points back. Talked about Kung Fu Racing. They jumped up to third with 153. And the rest of the teams, well, looks like it's going to be, at this moment, just between PMR and T-Brock Dam Bam. T-Brock with a tough round last week after Parsons got caught up in an incident there early in the race down the main straight. Really hurt his chances, hurt his team. Well, it wasn't by his doing, but took a hit in the team points last week with that poor result.
You know, usually it's the driver's classification that has, you know, maybe one or two, maybe three guys fighting for it at this point in the season, and it's the team classification that usually is wide open. It's kind of reversed this time around, Al. And Chris Moses, with that no qual, our championship leader, of course, at the very rear of this grid, and all of his championship rivals up ahead of, and none more so than Eiran Parsons starting on pole. So he's already collected one bonus point here toward that championship and 1 point over Chris Moses. So I think that in all likelihood, that team, that driver championship, is going to tighten up after tonight, Al.
Yeah, as well as Ronnie Nunez starting kind of mid-pack in the 8th with the weight. He's kind of in limbo right now, so it's kind of up in the air to see how Ronnie is going to do here tonight. He is carrying all that weight. Is he going to get gobbled up down some of these straights? You know, he can quickly find himself outside the top 10, struggling to score some points tonight. And all things, you know, everything can just work in the Parsons' favor. Definitely in his favor here tonight, starting on pole. It's a good opportunity for him to really close up on Moses after tonight if he can have a win here.
Yeah, agreed. I know we have to get to the driver rundown here, but there are a few wild cards I should point out real quickly too. David Poole, Kevin Savoy, Marty Eiran. None of these guys figure into this team championship, but they want to run for this win and for a good result tonight. So that's always the wild card.
All right, so we've had 8 different winners this season. David Poole, Kevin Savoy, second and third. Can they be the 9th different winner this season, Brad? That would be pretty amazing if that can happen. But let's run down the starting order here tonight, get the show on the road, and see how things play out. So starting from pole, it's going to be Eiran Parsons, followed by David Poole second, Kevin Savoy third, John Houston's going to start fourth, Monty Eiran in fifth.
David Rowley took 6th. Luis Nieto put in a nice time for 7th. Ronnie Nunez picked up 8th. Chuck Carter's in 9th. Matt Taylor starts 10th.
In 11th, Kurt Chandler. Sam Rolfe's going to start 12th. Jaime Moore 13th. Iggy Giordia 14th. And Montgomery Jr. he's going to start 15th.
Greg Myers takes 16th. Newcomer Oscar Lithgow takes 17th. Sergio Calderon's in 18th. Omar Gomez 19th. Chris Moses 20th.
Matrix going to start 23rd, and John Houston is going to start, I'm sorry, 21st. Walton's going to start in 22nd. So you think it's going to be a Parsons show here tonight, or is someone else going to steal the show, Brad?
If he leads coming off of turn 1, then it's you have to shoot him probably for him not to come up with a win.
And we're off as Parsons leads the field into turn 1. David Poole having a pretty decent run on the inside. It's going to be a very, very tricky turn 1. These guys are going to have to be very careful. Looks like Savoy is going to take that spot. Ooh, a little too much throttle there on exit. And that gives up that position to David Poole. So Savoy's going to slot into 3rd, followed by Houston and Marty Eiran. Looks like Marty's going to hold on to 5th. Nieto up to 6th. Looks like we got some little situation here in the back. Ooh, nice move from Kevin Savoy. He takes that position away from David Poole. And a tough passing, tough corner to pass at that second chicane. With Marty Eiran through the Lesmos. Ooh, looks like he's going to have a run here on John Houston going up into Escari. I'm going to go side by side into Ascari, Houston, and Marty Eiran. Houston's going to duck behind Marty, I should say. Parsons already starting to check out a little bit from the rest of the field. But it's Houston. Looks like those two are going to have quite the battle here tonight. Pretty similar pace here early on. Top speed. Houston swinging out to the inside of Marty into the Parabolica. Nice move there from John. Further back, it is Nieto, followed by Lithgow, Chandler, Carter, Matt Taylor. Chris Moses now has worked his way from the back of the grid up to 11th. Got John Watson right behind him as well. Watson, oh, we're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. This is going to be ugly. 4 wide. And Watson and Nunez, a little contact. Ooh, it looks like Paul and Savoy had it coming together. Nunez gets collected by Watson. Looks like Watson might be beached. Unbelievable. I don't know if you're there, but
yeah.
Ooh, Rally now takes it off. Oh. It's like a lot of a lack of preparation for some of these guys. Oh, pretty amazing start here for Oscar Lithgow, all the way up to 4th now, as Eiran Parsons starts to check out. Nieto has moved up to 2nd, followed by his teammate for the night, Marty Eiran. We talked about Lithgow. He is in 4th. Kurt Chandler, Houston, Taylor, and Carter. Let's jump on board with Chuck. Gap between Parsons and Nieto now 6 seconds, as Taylor is having a look on the inside of John Houston. So not sure what happened to Houston. He and Marty were having a good tussle, but Houston has given up a couple positions. So Taylor's going to get that pass made on Houston down the straight. Sam Rolfe now up to 9th. Giordia running in 10th. Greg Myers has worked his way up to 11th, followed by Savoy. Moses. Nunez has rejoined at 14th. Got Jaime Moore behind him. Montgomery Jr. back in 16th. Calderon running in 17th, followed by Watson. Rally. Greatrix in 20th. And Gomez in 21st. So your leader, Parsons, followed by Nieto and Marty Eiran running 2 and 3, Brad. Kung Fu Racing.
I'm just sitting here trying to get a sense of what has happened here, Al, and how it's going to affect the rest of this race. Look, Oscar Lithgow, very fine driver, probably. We don't know too much about the guy. Haven't had a chance to speak with him a lot. It's unheard of, running in 4th. So we're trying to get a sense of what's going to happen here. We're going to have fast guys coming through some of these other positions at some point, and I think we're in for still a lot of fireworks. But I don't know, this start has been unbelievable, Al.
Yeah, it's Marty and Luis. Nieto battling a little bit here. No T-mortars, it looks like, between these two guys. Marty looks like he's going to have a run on Lewis going into turn 1, and Marty looks like he's going to get that pass made. So Marty now slots up to second. And meanwhile, Parsons is rocketing away here with an 8-second gap. Just 4 laps into this 26-lap race.
Oh! Oscar nearly has a spin there. Coming off of turn 1. Gave up the spot to Curtis Chandler. He will take over 4th, does Curtis Chandler.
So what a start here tonight for Curtis. Best lap of the race thus far. Eiran Parsons 57.2. Marty Eiran 57.8. So Lithgow and Taylor on board with Matt Taylor. Tries to close the gap onto Oscar. Look at that Oscar's lap time, 59. Curtis with a 2-minute best lap.
Yeah, I think we're going to start seeing the times drop a little bit as the field gets... Whoa, Oscar! Yeah. As the field gets sorted out and the tires do come up to temperature, now is about the time when they're going to be able to start pushing a little bit. But some of these guys that have run afoul or put it off track now are behind other guys that they would ordinarily be faster of, so their lap times are affected the wrong way.
On board with John Houston now is Sam Rolfe. Qualified all that well. Ooh, as Rolfe and Houston, a bit of a moment there over the curves, but Sam Rolfe up to 8th now.
Yeah, Houston had a couple positions up ahead of where he's at now, but threw it off coming through the second chicane and lost a couple positions as a result.
Looks like Nieto may have had it off. He has dropped some time to Marty in second, so
he has, and Matt Taylor now has, I'm sorry, Alex, picked up that 4th spot, so he has gotten by Curtis at some point.
John Houston having a look on the inside of Sam Rolfe as we go into turn 1. Ooh, Taylor with the moment. He gets it wrong. Ooh, Houston, a little wheel spin on exit, but he got the pass made on Rolfe, but Rolfe might have the answer here. Guys go side by side, and Houston's going to hang on to that position. So Chuck Carter now putting some pressure on Oscar, who is running in 6th. He's up as high as 4th. It's a really tight battle between Lithgow, Carter, Houston, and Sam Rolfe. Ooh, Lithgow takes it wide again.
No!
Yeah, so he is having some issues here tonight.
Well, it was an extraordinary set of circumstances that put Oscar up into that position from dead last on the grid, never having taken part in an NAGP race, and up to 4th. I'm stunned by that result, and it's great, but man, that's some pressure under fire there.
Watching the field stream through here. Chiordia running in the top 10. He is in 9th now. Kevin Savoy right behind him.
Yeah, so Chris Moses looking through timing and scoring now back into 14th, and he has not been able to advance his position. He has slipped off from his initial run up there to 11th from the back of the grid. So those guys involved in quite a fight there for 12th.
Let's pick that up. We're watching Iggy now with a pretty strong run here early. Ronnie Nunez has worked his way up to 13th after having an incident there with Watton early in this race, but Iggy might be a little bit of a sitting duck here as he's got Kevin Savoy hot on his heels. Riding on board with Savoy. Meanwhile, for 3rd, Luis Nieto now has just given up position to Matt Taylor. So Matt Taylor has now slotted into third. Nieto, who was running in second, is starting to come unglued here.
Well, that's an important position. That is to say, Matt Taylor in that PMR car. It's important points for those guys with Chris Moses struggling.
Over Chuck Carter. Nice exit from Chuck. Looks like they got a run here on Kurt. The exit of Parabolica.
Well, these guys all should be running similar downforce, so it is about the type of run that you can gain coming off corner. Look at that. They just can't hardly get.
Oh, some contact between the two. Ooh, keep it together.
Now, how the hell did that happen? How do you have contact coming straight down a straight like that, Al? Seriously.
I can't explain it. Cannot explain it, but they were very, very close. Tire to tire, and that was the result. So Chuck is going to get shuffled back to 8th. Sam Rolfe gets past. And now, a lot of work here for Chuck. Now he's got that damage as well. It's going to be a challenge for him to maintain some of that top speed. On board now in Savoie. Kevin. He has reeled in Iggy Chiordia here. This is for 9th. Run on Iggy into Ascari.
Oh, I know. Somebody's going to have to apply for witness protection. Because, the authorities will be coming after somebody. That's all I know. Holy cow.
So Kevin gets the pass made on Iggy, but Iggy not having none of it. Iggy, is he going to get it done? Can he keep it on track? Wow. He gets the pass made on Kevin, but Kevin now looking to counter.
Well, I can tell you that this is a direct result, Iggy Chiordia, that is, of John Wathen's instruction last night. I know those two drivers are working together, and Iggy has taken John Wathen's advice to heart. Too bad John Wathen hasn't.
About further back, we got 3 wide going into turn 1. It is Lithgow, Houston, Montgomery, and Moses now. Ooh, and it looks like Greg Myers has gotten into the back of Moses. That's gonna let Wathen pass. So Moses is gonna get back to work here. Wow. I'm not sure what to tell you, Brad. I don't know. I'm like, I'm at a loss for words. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Well, I can understand that incident quite a bit better. Greg was last in line there, and everybody was having to check up, and it's tough. But I'd say that this would have to be one of Moses' worst stints, and who knows how it's happened because he's been back there. But see, Moses continued to struggle there in 15th is very surprising.
Yeah, he must have been caught up, gotten caught up in something, but
in the meantime, like you say, it's great.
No, I mean,
the battles were.
Alex Scott meant very uncharacteristic of Greg. It's not fair. He's not. He never does stuff like that. So I mean, the mistakes do happen. Can't say the same for the rest of the field. So gap now between Parsons and Marty. 12 seconds. Marty running in second. Matt Taylor in third. I'll tell you what, Luis Nieto has not given up the fight. He is starting to claw back into that lead. Taylor has over him, that gap. Just about a second and change, nearly 2 seconds. No, just about a second, under a second now.
Yeah, I would say that's a great run. I mean, how often have we seen Nieto hold this position like this kind of deep into the event, though it's still actually pretty young. But not only that, but challenging, possibly on pace, on merit for that third place. This is great stuff for Lewis.
Taylor taking it a bit wide. Middle of the Lesmos. Now, we've seen Lewis... you know, Lewis has definitely got pace. I mean, he's shown it in the GT cars, and he's had some brief moments here in the Abarth. But that could be kind of a big night for him if he can finish as high up as he is now. I think if he limits his mistakes, he'd have a lot more success. But he's put a lot of pressure now here on Matt Taylor. Really gets a nice run off the exit of the car. He's going to take that position away from Matt. So good recovery from Nieto after allowing Taylor to get by. And Taylor taking it wide through Parabolica. Taylor might be having some moment here. I don't know if he's...
Well, it is 20 kilograms for Matt Taylor. And
good point there, Brad. I forgot he was carrying weight.
Yeah. Far and away, everybody else with weight is outside of the top 10, but Matt Taylor is, you have to say, he's doing pretty good, actually. They're hanging on in fourth with those 20
who's
kilos.
doing pretty good now is Sam Rolfe about to put the move on Kurt Chandler. This is for fifth. And Sam, man, I think he really likes Italy. Imola last week, Monza here tonight, running in the top, running fifth. What a run for Sam. Pretty amazing. Kurt's not giving up here, though. You know, one of the really good things about these Abarths is the ability to run side by side through corners you wouldn't expect, especially not in the GT cars. A lot of the tracks we've seen so far this season, we've seen plenty of guys running side by side through several corners. I believe it was Zandvoort was one where we were seeing guys fight tooth and nail. But it's just, you know, it's just some of that side by side contact that these guys need to eliminate. It's hard to do.
Well,
Go ahead.
It's a mixed blessing, right? Yeah, I mean it's great, but it also does have some negative consequences as well. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Where did David Poole go? That is a good question. He is shown as off track.
He is done. He checked out after that incident with Kevin Savoy. Speaking of Kevin Savoy, he got a big run now on Chuck Savoy. Looks like he's going to pick up a position, move up into 6th. We have someone already diving into the pit lane. It looks like. So, yep, Savoy gets that pass made. Nunez in the pits here early, as is John Watson. Interesting. Brad, what tires? A lot of guys diving in the pits. Greg Myers in. Some of these guys probably repairing damage as well. So Nunez making his way out. Early stop.
Yeah, as soon as those that window opened, I think some of these guys are diving in. You know, I neglected to check on that tire situation. Actually, it is Marty Eiran and Matt Taylor both on the softs, Al.
Very interesting.
I forgot to check on that, yeah.
So that's moved Chris Moser Moses up to 12th. Chuck Carter, this battle still raging here between Sam Rolfe, Kurt Chandler, Savoy, and Chuck. So Nunez, Houston, Myers, Watson, Jordia, Montgomery Jr., Gomez, and Richards all come into the pits. Now, tire wear definitely is a question about tire wear. Tire wear is definitely a factor here. That's one of the big things we've noticed is in terms of strategy.
Yeah, interesting.
Each track has been a bit different. For the most part, it's been medium hards. We've seen some instances, Sepang, for example, where Montgomery ran the softs for quite a long stint, was able to get those to work, but yeah, it's kind of run the gamut here in terms of tire strategy.
Yeah, it was interesting talking to Chris Moses. He actually was experiencing quite a bit of wear on the medium tires. He actually started on the hards. I think he planned on double stinting. That may be out the window now, but now that he's so far back and maybe those hards not holding quite the pace he wanted. But yeah, interesting. He said that he thought the mediums did have a high wear rate.
So Savoy has gotten the pass made on Kurt Chandler. Meanwhile, gap between Marty and Parsons has gone down a little bit, down to 10 seconds. It was around 15 at one point. You mentioned Marty on the softs.
Oh, Ronnie Nunez takes it off.
So Parsons making his way through Parabolica. Looks like he's going to stay out. His teammate has already pitted, so looks like those two are on differing strategies. Parsons' best lap of the race with a 56.6. Only the closest guy to him is Marty with a 57.5. 57.6 for Nieto. So Nieto has given that position back up to Matt Taylor. So Matt Taylor has moved back into third. So you got to wonder, no doubt Nieto appears to have made a mistake.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm also interested to see now that these guys have made their stops, gotten their damage fixed, what kind of lap times they are going to be representing after these stops, and hopefully being settled down a little bit. I think we're going to get a better sense of who has what kind of pace here in this second stint.
Got Chris Moses now. Moses running up in ninth. He's got a pretty hefty lead over John Houston, who Houston has pitted already, running in 11th. Calderon, he's let Nunez by. Nunez, well, actually this is for position between Nunez and Calderon. As those two go side by side into turn one. John Watson running in 13th, followed by Greg Myers back there in 14th. So these two guys have pitted. Iggy Chiordia now about to get overtaken. He does get passed by Salem. So Salem now moves up, takes a position away from Iggy.
Yeah, those two have been involved in a pretty good fight here the last couple laps.
This guy, who was running in 4th, has pitted and now finds himself back in 17th, and then it's Greatrix in 18th. We've seen some attrition. Parsons has come into the pits, Brad. He is away. Marty is in as well. So the leader is in. Marty is away. And Marty, is he able to pick up any time on Parsons?
Yeah, it doesn't look like.
No, lost a little bit of time there to Eiran. Kurt Chandler, he has elected to stay out. He is not pitted. Taylor is away. Nieto is away. So pit lane.
I'd say if you're Marty Eiran, I'd say if you're Marty Eiran, actually to come in only 10 seconds in arrears to Aaron Parsons, actually a pretty good run there in that first stint.
Very good stop from Kevin Savoy. He gets out ahead of Sam Rolfe. As John Houston now, he's going to try and pick up a position here while these guys make their way out of the pits. Going to be tight. So this battle resumes here between Rolfe, Houston, and Savoy. And it looks like Nieto has made another mistake. He's dropped 10 seconds to Taylor. Interesting. Very close battle now between Rolfe and Houston. Houston heavy on the brakes. Ooh, a little bobble from Rolfe. And that's going to open the door for Houston to get past into Lesbos 1. Get some time here. I'd like to mention next Sunday, this coming Sunday, the 22nd, NAGP will be part of a fun race against OSRW. Ooh! Sorry, as Sam Rolfe went for a ride after jumping that curb over the exit of Ascari. Wow, he went airborne. I'm sorry, OWSR, I believe it is. It is a Russian league, so NAGP will be having a fun race in the Abarth at Road America this Sunday at noon Eastern. There's going to be 14 drivers from each league competing. 2 broadcasters from each league. So you'll have your English version and your Russian version. So it's all for fun. It should be a good time. So hopefully you guys can tune in for that next Sunday.
Yeah, looking forward to that one, Al. That's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be interesting to see what the kind of competition we get out there as well.
Yeah, I know you're going to partake in that one. Ken Rodriguez is going to be broadcasting, and I'm going to try and get Jack to join up with him in the broadcast and rekindle that old flame. So take a look at.
Yeah, it's time those guys.
Go ahead.
Time those guys kissed and made up. We never did know what broke off their tryst there, Al, but I'm glad to see them back together again. You know.
Well, Jack is racing on Thursday, so and doing quite well. So these gaps have kind of spread out a little bit. It is Matt Taylor following Chris Moses. Chris has yet to pit, so he is due for service at some point. And then further back, it is John Houston who's made his way past Kevin Savoy.
Yeah, and that happened just recently, actually, a couple laps ago. So John Houston moving forward. Interesting, Chris Moses, he is on the hards here. He will, of course, have to make at least one stop for fuel, but he has a chance to get in and out and improve his position by quite a bit over what it was. I mean, it's still running 15th by the time those stops begin to cycle through. So a chance to pick up quite a few spots here for Chris Moses.
And it is a relatively short pit lane as well. You carry a lot of speed going in, so it may work out just fine for him. So Savoy trying to reel Houston back in after Savoy led both Houston and Rolf out of the pit lane. Rolf with a moment. It looks like Savoy had a moment, so that allowed Houston to get past both those guys. Meanwhile, Ronnie Nunez has got it figured out here in the second stint, running in 9th, as has John Watton, who actually had an incident with Ronnie in the opening laps, but Watton now in the top 10.
Yeah, and that's the driver I was going to mention next. He had set himself up very well, coming in early for that pit stop, repairing some of his damage, and as the stops began to cycle through, it looked to me like John Watton was going to cycle quite a ways up into, quite up the ways up the grid, so it has happened, and this is a nice recovery here for John Watton.
Well, you mentioned at the start, as Nieto has parked it, so not sure what happened to Lewis, but he is done. So we talked about Watton's pace, and yeah, he is moving quite well. 57.7 best lap, so right up there with Marty and Houston, and so definitely good pace there for Watton. So under 10 laps to go here in this race, quickly winding down. This is a very fast circuit, so these laps go by quickly. Greg Myers running in 10th. And Chuck Carter, not sure what happened to Chuck, but he finds himself in 11th after stops. Behind him is Salem, followed by Oscar in 13th. And Iggy Chiordia in 14th. And Oscar's gone green, so Iggy picking up some spots. Meanwhile, Sam Rolfe under some pressure now from Ronnie Nunez.
Yeah, Iggy was actually in line to pick up quite a few more spots, rotate nearly up back into the top 10. However, he and Salem Montgomery ran into each other, one or the other. I'm not sure which happened to which, but bumped Iggy short off track. Took him a while to recover.
Just as we go on board with Ronnie, he throws it off. So he's going to have to make up some time there. Meanwhile, talked about Moses, still has yet to pit, the only guy on track who has not pitted up to this point. We are 18 laps deep into this race.
Yeah, he is not going to take tires.
Ooh, Watton. Oh, he saves it somehow. Nice save from Watton. Sorry, Brad, go ahead.
No, that's good. Watton needs to save it because he has a real shot here to pick up at least another position. I think he definitely has speed over Nunez if he can manage to hold it together and not make too many more of those mistakes. He's in line for another position. Uh-oh, looks like Rolf is throwing it off.
So Sam, he's now going to fall under pressure here from John Watton.
Moses into the pits.
So Moses finally comes out, dives into the pits. Try and pick him up here. Oh, he is away. He comes out ahead of Ronnie. Wow, what a great stop from Moses.
Yeah, and it looks like Moses did double stint those tires, so still on that same set of hards that he started with, Al.
Comes out ahead of Nunez and right behind Kevin Savoy. So he is good to go to the end of this race.
Yeah, interesting to see how many positions he will be able to hold on to with that that hard rubber versus the mediums. He may do just fine. That is one heck of a move up the field from where he's at, Al.
Yeah, and he may be in prime position here. I suspect the mediums will hold their life for a longer period of time, given the track. And if Moses does start to put pressure on Savoy here, it may come late in this race. Those hards are certainly going to outlast the mediums.
Well, It is the same set that he started with, though.
Yeah, but Savoy's got a lot more laps on those mediums than Moses.
Yeah?
Yeah, those hards are pretty durable. So we'll see how it plays out here.
Well, right now it is on between those two, that's for sure. I mean, within a couple seconds, and that is on.
Lap times between the two nearly identical. 58.775 best lap for Savoy. 58.721 for Moses.
Wow, got to give honorable mention as I look through the timing and scoring sheets here. Oscar Lithgow hanging on to that 13th spot.
Yeah, it would be quite a showing for him if he could score points. Looks like he's in line to do so. Meanwhile, Wathan starting to put some pressure on Sam Rolfe here late in the stint.
Yeah, after that, oh, you're on board with Chuck?
No, John Wathan.
Oh, yeah, after that Sam Rolfe mistake, Wathan picked up a hunk of time there, and if he can manage to clear Rolfe, I think he still has a shot at Nunez.
A little further up, Moses starting to put a lot of pressure on Savoy, that's for fifth.
Wow, interesting. We have seen all kinds of strategies play out in all kinds of different ways, but we have not seen this one yet, Al. A double stint of the hard rubber.
I think I got to correct you there. Barbagallo, Matt Taylor, double stinting the hards. Or did he change onto the hards?
No, I think he changed onto the hards, Al.
Okay, yeah, so you might be right there.
I think. Pretty sure.
Rolfe. Got a little loose there on exit of Ascari. It's going to help Wathan out here. Wathan having a look on the inside. Is he going to make it stick? Holy smokes, he does. But Sam Rolfe looking to counter here.
Oh, is that Nunez off?
It looks like Nunez did go off. Yep.
Wow.
Incredible battle here between Rolfe and Wathan side by side into turn one. Wathan with the pass. Great battle here.
You got a slow exit though, coming off of one.
Have a look on the inside. Oh, Sam, keep it together. Sent it a little too early into that first Lesmo, giving up a lot of time to Wathan now. A little further up, it is this battle between Moses and Kevin Savoy. This gap virtually unchanged since Moses has exited the pits. Iggy Chiordia has made the move on Lithgow, so Chiordia moves up a position. Houston now running in fourth. I'm not sure what happened to Kurt, but he is now a lap down. He was running up in fourth. I just noticed he's down in 14th. Wow, a lap down. was...
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, Al. He was back there after the pit stop rotation. I'm not sure exactly what happened. He has not recovered from whatever that was.
Well, we haven't talked too much about Parsons here tonight, but he's pretty much checked out from the start of this race, but he is well and truly ahead of the field. 16 seconds up on Marty Eiran as Parsons dominating here tonight with 4 laps remaining in this race.
Yeah, and dominating is the right word. He wasn't very challenged, not only because he has obviously tremendous speed, but because it seems like everybody has made some type of mistake or other out on track. Marty Eiran, he hasn't seemed to make any mistakes, but he has been off the pace. But the result is that Aron Parsons has lapped up to 7th. I mean, this is really kind of remarkable, actually.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about Marty either, but 2 second place finishes, and looks like he's in line for another one here this season. And well, we talked about him last week, kind of a few lackluster performances through the mid part of this season, but certainly recovered here tonight after notching those 2 second place finishes earlier in this season. Good run here for Marty.
I would say it has. Yeah, it has been a bit of a rebound, I would say, for Marty. It was a very, kind of lackluster middle portion of the season.
So this gap between Savoy and Chris Moses now within a second. Chuck Carter also putting some pressure on Greg Myers here late. This is for 9th. Chuck.
Yeah, it is a fight there. Lithgow and Chandler in 13th as well. So battle's continuing.
Iggy this evening. What a great run for Iggy this evening. Chuck Carter now putting a lot of pressure on Greg.
Yeah, and both those guys fighting for some of these top 10 points. Ooh, Greg does make a mistake.
Slight little bobble from Greg. That's going to give Chuck a run here into a Sky.
On the outside, yeah.
And yeah, he does. He gets it done. Very nice overtake there from Greg Myers. I mean, from Chuck Carter, sorry, on Greg Myers. But you got to hand it for Greg's teammate, Sam Rolfe. Had a few bobbles there, but has recovered, running solidly in 8th.
Yeah, it's been a great, relatively mistake-free run for not only Sam, but Greg as well, honestly, it has to be said.
Pick up this battle between Lithgow and Curtis. This is for 13th.
Yeah, Curtis in this very same spot he was on the last lap. Couldn't make it stick last time by. Maybe having some downforce issues, but seems to have a good run to this point. Okay, now no contact, side by side on the straightaway. Thank you, appreciate it.
Giving each other plenty of space down the straight.
I'm gonna say it. That was, I don't know what happened, but it was crap, whatever it was. I don't mind saying it.
That's what we love about you, Brad. So Curtis gets that pass made. Let's jump up here with this Chris Moses Savoie duel. Well, Moses looks like he's closed the gap up a little bit.
Yeah, timing and scoring shows him as closing it up a little bit. Now almost within a second. And you know, we have to assume that Savoie did not double stint the medium. So this is interesting to see. I was really looking forward to having an idea of how this would work out. It looks like it's worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it looks like the hards are working out here late, and the mediums might be starting to go off, as I predicted.
I mean, and the only problem is that, of course, Moses was very obviously slow early in the run. It could not work his way through traffic and was stuck in that traffic. Couldn't make use of maybe having better speed with better tires. So it might be a little dicey, risky type strategy to employ, but he's made it work. And the attrition here tonight, frankly, has helped a whole bunch too for Moses.
Both Moses and Savoie, a little bit of a moment there through that last corner. That gap really shrinking now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mistake by Savoie coming off that second Lesmo.
Joe Carter now under pressure from Sam Rolfe. These guys all doing a good job keeping it within the limits, the track limits here. Haven't seen much, haven't seen many guys taking liberties through some of these corners.
Yeah, I don't think they really can in these cars. I think that the curbing just upsets them a little too much.
Yeah, that gap. Very nice fight here for, this is for 5th.
Yeah, wasn't sure which battle that you were on at the moment, but yeah, it's definitely, it's all on now. Just laps to go. What, you got like what, 2 laps?
2 to go.
Boy, don't know what happened to Nunez, but what a big, I mean, that's a huge blow for him. 2nd in championship points. And I don't know if that car was beached or, yeah, connection problem or something. I don't know, but I know that I'm sitting in that beach all day till I manage to dig myself out.
Parsons starting the final lap here. As Chris Moses trying to make his way past Kevin Savoie. He's lost a little bit of time. Really on the tailpipe of Savoie. It's about a half a lap ago. Very nice exit through Ascari. Ooh, has to lift a little bit. There's a lot of speed through this.
This is a nice fight. Yeah, this is a nice fight.
So they'll get the white flag next time when they cross the stripe here coming up. Moses really makes up a lot of time on the braking here on Savoie. Going into one, don't want to miss our leader here. Across the start-finish line. There he is, Aaron Parsons now coming through Parabolica for the final time as he takes the win here at Monza in dominating fashion. Giordia going to finish a lap down. Marty Eiran, great job. He's going to finish in second. But back to this fight between Moses and Savoie. Ooh, Savoie takes it wide. They're going to be side by side into Ascari.
I think Chris may. No, not quite. Maybe.
He may have him cleared. He does.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah. Wow.
That's right. Ooh, and that was it maybe for Savoie. Yep. Got a bit of the gravel on exit of Ascari. That's going to give it up for Moses. Taylor now just finally crossing the line to take third. 50 seconds behind. Houston's going to finish in fourth. And Chris Moses, amazingly, is going to hang on to fifth, lose a little bit of weight. Savoie is going to take sixth. Going to back out of here real quick, save the replay. And bring up Aaron Parsons. Aaron Parsons, do you copy?
I do, Al.
Alan Bratt here in the broadcast booth. Congratulations on a dominating victory here tonight. Really, from the drop of the green flag, you checked out. You were 8 seconds up on the rest of the field within the first, 3-4 laps maybe. And came out of the pits about 10 seconds. It looked like Marty started closing the gap on you a little bit there towards the end of your first stint, but after your pit, you came up at about 12 seconds up on Marty, and then just ended up driving away, finishing well ahead of him, around 20-something seconds ahead of Marty. So talk us through it. Pretty amazing run.
Well, it was a pretty uneventful race for me. I really owe this victory to John, my teammate. He handed me an incredible setup last night, and all I pretty much had to do was get in and drive, and the car was really fast and really controllable. And there was a lot of guys missing tonight, guys with penalties and weight ballast, and looks like there were some accidents behind me on lap 2, so it wasn't a lot of competition for the win.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there was absolutely anything at all that almost kept you from holding a good pace, but it doesn't sound like anything happened out there that you had to be too concerned with. So it's going to be a few points picked up on Moses. Going to be three events left in the season. How do you like your chances the rest of the way?
It's going to be difficult. PMR, no matter how good we have been, PMR always seemed to be pulling out really good results despite setbacks. So it's going to be difficult but we're going to give it a good shot. I think John and I are working really well together this season. After struggling early on, we've really found how to make the car work now. So we'll do our best to try and get some really good results.
Well, Aaron, you have Mugello coming up in 2 weeks after a little break here for a holiday here in the U.S. That's a very demanding circuit, and I know you're going to be carrying some weight for that event. I know this Monza race just finished, but you can look ahead a little bit for us. How do you think that car's going to manage Mugello with that added weight, given the types of corners there, the sweeping corners, and the pretty long main straight?
That's going to be a completely different track to what we just ran at Monza. I ran incredibly low downforce at this track, the lowest I've run all season, whereas Mugello is going to be much higher downforce, really carrying the speed through the corners. The weight's pretty hard on the cars, but it should be slightly better at that sort of track than a track like Monza. I think carrying weight at a track like Monza or Montreal is really difficult.
Well, we're going to be certainly keeping our eye out on you and see for you and see how you work your way around Mugello. It's going to be interesting to see how you do there. But either way, congratulations on a big win here tonight, dominating victory, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Al. Thanks, Brad.
Well, there you have it, Brad. Pretty uneventful race for him, but further back it was pretty entertaining for a lot of this race. A lot of good battles out there.
Yeah, maybe a little entertaining for us, frustrating maybe for the drivers. Yeah, I would say the story tonight more than anything is really the rate of attrition. We've seen some relatively high rates of attrition over the course of the season. This one probably the highest yet. And boy, I have to say I'm a little surprised by that. So a lot of mistakes, a lot of attrition, but some good runs from some guys that we might not talk about a lot. John Wathan, of course, great run up, with Chuck Carter as well. So a good race nonetheless. Eiran Parsons will pick up a few points, but it will still be a battle going forward.
So we will be back Thursday night for round 8 of the GT Championship. Ken broadcasting that event, coming to you live from Shanghai, the China GP circuit. So that should be a very good race, interesting race. It's a very difficult track, so hopefully you guys can tune in for that, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern for that one. We will, like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Sunday at noon Eastern, we will be having that fun race against Russian League there. So hopefully NAGP, they should be pretty well represented there. So hopefully we have a good showing. But in terms of this Monday night Abarth League, we will be back in 2 weeks. Next Monday, 2 weeks from tonight. Sorry, from Mugello at 9 p.m. Eastern. So till then, plenty of racing still ahead, and hopefully you guys can join us the rest of the way. Thanks, Brad, and